Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how you can change the colours on your Squarespace website. This is one of the steps in my Squarespace website checklist. If you haven't already got a copy of the checklist, I'll leave a link in the description box below. You can download a copy for free, and if you're building your own website on Squarespace, you can follow along with all the steps. So I want to change the colours on my Squarespace website today, and I'll walk you through how to do it. The first thing I want to do is click on this top right hand corner on this paintbrush icon, and that will bring me to my site styles menu. I'm looking at colours today, so I'm going to click on the arrow next to colours, and this brings up my colours panel. On my colours panel, I've got two sections. I've got my colour palette at the top here, and underneath I have section colour themes, and I'll talk you through both parts of this colours panel so you can understand how this plays out in Squarespace. So my colour palette is made up of 5 colours. I have an off-white, a light colour, an accent, a dark, and an off-black. And as a general rule of thumb, the off-white or the lightest colour in the palette should be in the furthest left, and as you go across over to the right, they should gradually get darker and end on a off black at the very end on the right. And the middle colour here is usually an accent colour that pops out against the rest. And then what Squarespace does is it takes these core 5 colours from the palette and it organises them into 10 different colour themes, and we'll talk through the colour themes in a bit more detail later on in the video. But today I want to edit my core 5 colours. I want to edit this palette. So to do that, I'm going to click on Edit Palette. And you can see I've got my 5 colours up here at the top, and there's a few different options to edit them. So the first option is you can use one of Squarespace's preset colour palettes, and there are loads and loads to choose from. They're just down at the bottom here. If you scroll down, you can see you have monochromatic palettes, you have bright palettes, you have muted palettes, all different colours. And I'm going to click on one so you can see on my website over on this side that the colours will immediately update to reflect the new palette. And this is completely different to what I had before, but you can see the colours have updated immediately and they're the new palette that I've chosen. So that's one option. And this is a great option if you don't have branding guidelines, you haven't got a colour theme set yet, you can just scroll through and any of these would work. They're beautiful. The second option is you can click on the From Image tab, and if you have an image that you definitely want to use on your website, you can upload the image here, and Squarespace will pull colours from the image to create a cohesive palette. So that's a great option, again, if you don't have your colours set, but you've got an image that is important for you to use on your website. And then the third option here is if you have a colour that you really, really love and you definitely want to use it in your branding, but you don't know what other colours would go with it, what you can do is if you make sure you click on this middle colour here, which is the accent, you can pick your colour from the colour picker here and say, for example, I really love bright pink. So I'm going to change this to a bright pink. And what Squarespace then does is it's given me 4 options that are all different to each other, but all work really well with my bright pink that I've chosen as my accent colour. So that's, again, it's a great option if you're not sure how to build a palette around your favourite colour. The other options are if you wanted to go in and change each and every shade in your 5, you can do that. So first thing you need to do is click on the shade you want to change. And again, you have a couple of options here. You can use the color picker to just change the shade, or you can come down to this section and you can either input a hex code, an RGB code, or an HSL code. So if you've got any of these codes in your branding guidelines, then that's a great way. Then you've got the exact shade, and that's what I'm going to do today. I've got 5 hex codes that I'm going to input into my palette to create my brand new color scheme here. So I'll start by doing that. So this is my first color that I want to update. Okay, so that's my core 5 colours updated. I've got a brand new colour scheme and I'm happy with that. Now, as I've mentioned before, Squarespace is going to use my 5 colours, and as long as I've stuck to the rule of using the lightest one on the left and gradually getting darker as I get along to the right, it's going to create for me 10 different colour themes in my site styles panel. So these are my 10 themes, and I've got them all set up here on my page on my website. So I'm just going to scroll down to show you that this is how you can tell what theme is being used on which section. If you look in the top right, you can see that this section is using the lightest one theme. And all that means is the background is my off-white colour, my buttons are my coral, my accent colour, and the text is black. But if I scroll down, my lightest 2 is similar, but it is different. So the background's the same, the button's the same, but the text is also in this coral pink colour. And as you scroll down, you can see how Squarespace has mixed and matched the colours that I've put into my palette to create different colour themes, but also they're all very cohesive. So the colours work well, you can read the text, the buttons stand out, and they're all very easy to use across the website. Now, you may never need to change any aspect of these colour themes because Squarespace does a really, really good job of prioritising things like contrast to make sure it's readable. But say if you did want to change one aspect of one of the colour themes just to make it a little bit different, you can do that. So, for example, on this dark 2 theme, say I wanted to change the button colour to a different colour, I can do that. And the way to do that is by, again, going into my colours panel and locating the colour theme that I want to edit. And in this case, it's dark 2. So hover over the dark 2 and click on the pencil icon. And then I'm met with so many different options. I can change the background, I can change the text colours. If you scroll down, you'll just see hundreds and hundreds of things that you can update within this one colour theme. But I want to update the button colour, so I'm going to scroll down until I find the button. And I know that this is a primary button, so to update the colour, I'm going to click on the circular colour next to it. And it brings up my core palette of 5. Now, I could give it a custom colour if I wanted to by adding in a hex code or using the colour picker, but I actually want to give it this light pink colour because I think that stands out from the background really, really well. So I've clicked on the light pink and you can see immediately my button has updated the colour. Now that's great, I like the way it looks, but what I don't like is that you can't actually read the text very well. So I'm going to click on the primary button text and update the colour here as well. So I'm going to click on the circular colour next to where it says primary button text. And again, it will bring up my core 5 colours. I could give it a custom colour if I wanted to, but I just want to stick to my 5 so that my website looks cohesive. And I'm going to give the text the colour of navy. And that's a lot better because the navy stands out much better against the pale pink background of the button that I've given it. So I'm happy with how that looks. So I'm going to click save. So now that we've updated our colours and spoken about the colour themes, I'll show you how you can actually use these colour themes within your website. So this is my website page. Say I want to add a section. What I would do is come out of Site Styles, and at the very bottom I'm going to click Add a Section, and let's say I want to, let's say I want to add this, which has got a big heading and then a lovely coloured button here, but I don't want it to be in this colour theme. I want the background to really stand out. So what I would do is click on the edit section, and up here we've got 3 tabs. Click on colours, and this brings up all your colour themes. So you can choose which colour theme to give this section. Now I really want the background to stand out, so I'm going to give it this bright 2. And this looks beautiful to me. It's that lovely coral background with the white text, and I've got really big text here, so it really stands out. And if I wanted to add another section underneath, say I wanted to add a slightly different section this time, this one, which has got an image and some other text, but again, I don't really like that it's got a light background. I want it to have a different background. Again, all I do is click edit section, click on colours and scroll down to a dark background, and it just updates the background, the text and the button colour to reflect how you want it to look. So it's as easy as that. If you found this video useful, please remember to give it a like. Please also remember to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any other Squarespace tutorials. I've left a link to my Squarespace website checklist in the description box below. You can download it for free if you're building your own Squarespace website. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you all the very best with your website.